Hello, my name is Ivan, and I'll be teaching a course on youth work ethics within this youth studies program. So, a few brief information about myself. I did my PhD in political philosophy at the University of Trieste in 2016, and I'm finishing my second PhD here at the University of Rijeka, also in political philosophy and ethics, and hopefully I'll be done with it in the next 2 or 3 months. I worked as a postdoctoral researcher in the Center for Advanced Studies of Southeast Europe in Rijeka, also at the Department of Cultural Studies in Rijeka, and finally for the past 4 years as a postdoctoral researcher in philosophy department at the University of Rijeka. Or to be more precise, I worked on two projects. One was well-being, affiliation, and social justice, and the second one is democratic responses to antisocial behaviors, so mostly ethics and political philosophy. I'm an author of more than 20 scientific articles and one book for now. It's Epistemic Democracy and Political Legitimacy, published this year by Palgrave Macmillan, and I'm preparing my second book, which should be out probably by the end of this or in the next year, on Mill and Epistemic Democracy, published by Roman and Littlefield. Also, I am engaged in popularization of science and promotion of science. I organize several projects that aim towards popularization of science, organizing public lectures, public debates, roundtables, reading groups, and so on, aimed at connecting academic community on the one hand and the general public and especially the youth on the other. Apart from this purely academic stuff, I also participated in a number of educations and workshops directed towards teaching ethics to young people. For example, UNESCO Ethics Teacher Training course in Dubrovnik, and also New Challenges in Human Rights Education in Cagliari, in Italy, Sardinia. And also participated in over 100 conferences directed towards ethics and public policy. Now, with regards to youth work, I attended one of the programs of youth studies conducted by Croatian Youth Network. It was probably 10 or 9 years ago, but also other educations, including one in Minnesota at the Department of Social Work, with many of the colleagues and many of the lectures here in this course. Also, I was engaged and I did some research on political participation of youth, presented a few papers in FEP's policy groups in Brussels and also at the Renner Institute in Vienna. And of course, I participated in several local conferences and workshops. For example, Let the Local Voices Be Heard for local participation of youth in the community, and then one about centers for youth and youth advisory boards, and so on. Apart from teaching and apart from attending workshops on youth work, I also have some practice behind myself. Namely, I was member and president of the Youth Advisory Board of Opatija for 3 terms, that is for 6 years. I was also president of the Youth Culture Association Kulturni Front, also from Opatija. It's one of the major youth associations in Opatija and also in county of Primorje and Gorski Kotar for 8 years. And of course, I was a president of the Youth Club of Croatian Red Cross from Opatija for, I think, 4 years. So apart from attending conferences and speaking in conferences, I also did a lot of work in practice, working with young people and observing how young people are making decisions, and especially how they're making ethical decisions or decisions with moral significance. And finally, to tell you a little bit about the course. So I'm teaching the course, elective course, Ethics in Youth Work. And the course is basically divided in 3 parts. The first one concerns dominant Western moral theories and their application on some issues related to youth work. So we'll be talking about utilitarianism, about deontology and virtue ethics, and how this very different moral theories apply or can be applied in justifying some practices or some policies in contemporary youth work. Second part of the course is focused on moral codes in youth work and basic values in youth work, like participation, equality, inclusion, and of course autonomy. And finally, the third part of the course concerns with the role that youth workers have in developing ethical competences and competences for moral decision making in youth. He'll be talking about how to promote democratic values and how to promote active citizenship in youth or in the young people you're working with. So that's more or less it. I'm looking forward to meeting you all. Unfortunately, most of our discussions and our interaction will be done via Skype or Teams, Zoom or some other online platform. Nonetheless, I'm looking forward to discussing these interesting things with you, to learning from you and with you. I hope, and in fact not only hope, I'm sure, we'll have a very productive few months.